I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. I would like to welcome TurtlesIn4K, or Turtles, to the show. Hi.
Hey, how we doing?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you coming on. If you could, please introduce yourself to everybody.
Hey y'all, I am Turtles. I am a turtle variety VTuber. I pretty much do a bunch of different games. I'm working on branching out to some more like hand cam stuff, and in the future I'm wanting to do some like cooking streams and some model building here. But
Oh,
that's a work in process.
yeah. Yeah, I like that idea. I can't do cooking streams because you can only, set things on fire in in so many ways before people start getting bored.
I mean, did you ever watch that old YouTube series? Is it okay to microwave this?
A little bit.
Yeah, I think you might have an audience for that.
Yeah, but I also don't want to set the microwave on fire. I've been known to set lots of things. Water is another thing I can set on fire pretty easily. Um,
How do you manage to set water on fire?
it takes a while, a lot of work, but it can be done. Um, what do you plan to do your cooking show with? What are you going to cook?
Hmm. I want to start off with some pastas, probably something a little bit easier. So, start off with some spaghetti, some mac and cheese, and then slowly move our way towards like maybe like lasagna or steak or more complex dishes.
Oh, cool. I just fixed myself a poor man's chicken parm last night, and
Ooh,
it
that's always good.
yeah, I I had some leftover macaroni noodles for when I fixed myself some pasta and ragu, and I put 3 chicken patties in the air fryer and just put them on top and warmed it up and put Parmesan on top of it.
That sounds actually really good.
It was. It was.
I'm Sometimes the simplest meals are some of the tastiest.
Well,
I've been cutting up chicken nuggets and mixing them with rice and adding different sauces on it,
oh
and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
pretty decent.
That would be very good. I just got to find the right rice to do it. There's only certain types of rice I can deal with. Um, the bigger types, is like, no, that's a little too. The texture gets me, I guess. Uh,
Ah, that makes sense.
yeah, it's just that. What am I chewing here? I'm too old to figure this stuff out. Anyway,
I need my soft textures, please.
that's right. I need my stuff pureed. No, I've done that before. It's not good. Um, the what else? I say you want to do some model building type stuff too?
Yeah, so I'm thinking some like Gundam stuff,
Mm-hmm.
maybe getting some like Legos in here and there and just
Mm-hmm.
working on those. Something that gives me a chance to step away from gaming
Mm-hmm.
and interact with chat more,
Mm-hmm.
as well as building something just really cool.
Cool. And is that something you really wanted to do when you got things started? VTubing was create a community and chat that you can interact with.
Yeah, I think that was my main goal. I just finding that community where we can bounce ideas off of each other, all interact, and then just build something, special together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's it's easier dreamed than done sometimes,
Y-
but
I will admit, yes, it is, especially in today's social climate.
yeah, social. It can be and pardon me for bringing this up since you are a turtle, but there are lots of gators in the swamp sometimes.
Hey, I'm glad you did bring that up because that's absolutely right.
Yeah,
That's why we have our extra hard shell.
that's right, exactly. So it's tough sometimes to get in that sort of. Have you been able to find some other VTubers to collaborate with, or have you held back
Uh,
on that yet?
I've done a few collaborations with some people. Nothing that's really led to, repeats, but I'm never close to that.
Mm,
Usually it's a lot of just interacting with fellow creators in their chat after a raid
mm,
or in their Discord servers. And then a
yeah,
lot of networking that way, I guess you could say.
yeah, yeah, yeah. it's tough it's tough to reach out and find somebody like that because we mentioned it before on these podcasts that you're not only putting yourself out there, but you're also putting their audience out there, and that might not combine. There's just too many things that could go wrong. But when it goes right, it's really good.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I will admit, with VTubers, there's a lot of scheduling that
Mm.
comes into place. And I'm more of the type of person where if you hit me up on a day and you're like, hey, you want to play this game later on? Chances are I'll say yes, you know. But when it comes to planning something out, I'll admit I procrastinate a little bit.
So, what type of games are you playing these days?
Let's see. We just finished playing through the BioShock series.
Mm.
Love that series with a passion.
Yeah.
Uh, and other than that, we're working on Hello Kitty Island Adventure while we're trying to find our next series to go through.
There's okay. Now, I've seen some folks playing that game, and of course, when you hear the title, you're like, "Oh, come on, why are you doing that?" But it actually looks pretty fun.
It's really fun. It's like a mix of Animal Crossing and just with all Hello Kitty characters. And I think I've already sunk about 12 or more hours into the game.
I saw somebody. It was one of the opening scenes. They referenced the film Snakes on a Plane, and
Yep.
I'm like, "What is this doing here?"
They do a bunch of little like jokes like that for the adults playing, and I
Yeah,
love it so much.
yeah.
I think they really took comedic root in the fact that well, I don't know this for a fact, but I believe the idea for the game started with the South Park joke
Mm.
where Butters says, I don't play World of Warcraft. I'm playing Hello Kitty Island Adventure. So I think that they know that their audience is going to be a mix of young children and then just, adults.
Adults with one eye closed.
Yep.
But the point is, it's a fun game. There's going to be a lot of people playing it. There might be a lot of people playing it and not telling anybody.
I fully believe that. Especially, it gets to a point where you get day locked. So you can only do so many things in an
Mm.
actual 24-hour period, just like with
Oh,
Animal Crossing.
yeah, yeah. Stardew Valley is like that for me. I get
Oh,
like I can't do any more today. No. And then you have
yeah, I get in the rut of Stardew where I just keep going sleeping, waking up, doing like four things,
mm,
sleeping again.
oh, I've got between 30 and 40 save files, and I have to stay away from it now.
I fully agree with you there. The game will suck me in and just drain hours away.
Oh, and I'll never go to work again. I'm not old. I'm not quite old enough to retire yet. So when they find Eric in his old age, he'll be sitting in the corner with a laptop and the Stardew Valley theme going on.
Now that sounds like a good retirement.
Yeah, just leave me alone and put my applesauce over here, please,
British.
please. So, when, and why did you get started with VTubing?
See, I originally started doing a face cam about 3 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and then this was probably around the end of COVID lockdown era,
Right.
and I really enjoyed it because I was doing a lot of fighting games. I found a good community, but then just a lot of life stuff happened, and I wasn't able to do it for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of lost that sense of motivation, I guess, to keep pushing and trying to do it more.
Right.
And it wasn't until I was watching a lot more VTubers that I started to really like the idea of using a model because you can do more, it allows crowd interactivity
Mm-hmm.
and, the expressions and everything. But I was just so hesitant on actually pushing forward.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until I was watching Lloyd's Fault, an amazing streamer that I love, where I had mentioned the idea of wanting to get into VTubing, and he, as the community likes to say, bullied us into it. He pretty much just said, "Go ahead and do it. If you don't start, you're never going to. If you keep pushing it off and pushing it off,
Right.
you'll never know what the door will open."
Well,
And
not
so I
wrong.
finally took that leap,
Yeah.
and I've loved it ever since.
So you already had the streaming chops in from doing it before with the face cam. And
Mhm.
what was the difference for you once you turned the microphone on with the model?
Hmm. It's that is a really good question.
I'll do that every once in a while.
I feel like with the model, I can be a little bit more myself, if that
Mm,
makes
it
sense,
certainly does.
because I don't feel as perceived.
Hmm.
You don't see me scratching my face or
Mm,
something like that. You don't see the little things.
right.
It's just the model and the expressions and everything that I'm projecting forward with the character.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand that completely. I mean, I was in radio for 35 years, a long, long time, and I
Oh, wow.
enjoyed the fact that no one saw me talking into the microphone because I mean I could have. There's a couple times I had a couple thousand people listening, like especially for around ball games and such. But
Oh, yeah.
but I was glad that they didn't see me, turn off the microphone and run out and cough for a half hour because I'm working through pneumonia, that type of thing. It does actually freeze you, doesn't it, a little bit?
Yeah. I feel like if I want to wear just an oversized t-shirt and have messy hair,
Mm-hmm.
I can. I don't have to look clean and be my best for camera.
Yeah, yeah. And when I tell folks right now, my usual setup is a 10x gray sweatshirt, and
Now that sounds cozy.
it is. I wish everybody has one. And
I recently got a super large blanket hoodie. So it
ooh,
comes down past my knees and it's that nice soft like uh fleece material, I
oh
guess.
yeah, 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 yeah. Why do you
Yeah,
ever take that off?
I haven't. I've been wearing it nonstop pretty much. It's amazing.
This is why it was so good for everybody to work from home. Don't have to worry about that every once in a while.
Oh
It
yeah.
reminds me of a story about TV anchor folks. There were some TV anchor folks whose wardrobe budget was bigger than my annual salary in radio, but frequently they just wore the suit jackets. And
Huh.
I mean that was because they were sitting down, they weren't standing up at the time.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, it is just waist up, so I suppose that makes
Yeah,
sense. But
so
I never would have expected them to have a huge budget for it.
some of them did. So the big timers around here did, um, and it was part of their. So they had the budget, so it wouldn't be part of their contract.
Hmm.
Yeah. So if you were in radio and television and you had contracts, then you were big money. If you were like me, you had hourly wages and you lived off the free stuff.
Hey, that still sounds like a good time though.
It was. I wish you could still do it now, but it's very tough to do. And speaking of that, have you done a lot of voice work stuff?
I haven't, but I've been interested in it for a long time. I think ever since high school when I
Mm-hmm.
discovered anime,
Mm-hmm.
I would really wanted to get into voice acting.
Well,
And now it's to the point where when I'm playing a game or watching media where they do use voice actors, I'm actually starting to recognize people
mm-hmm.
and actors, and I love it so much. But I've been to a few cons and been to a few panels. Stephen Dark Prince, he, I think I said his name right. I might have butchered it. Ugh, I feel bad about that. But
Sounds pretty good.
he mentioned that when he was trying to start, he had to apply, I think, over 100 times
Mm-hmm.
with audition tapes.
Right.
And then it got to the point where he had to start calling them
Mm-hmm.
because he never heard anything back. So he was like, if you really want to get into the voice acting industry, you essentially have to either know somebody or you have to pressure them enough to basically look at you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which, I mean, sounds interesting. And I'm all for that because, I mean, that's how you get ahead anywhere in the world is, being seen.
Right.
But when you look at voice acting, there is like a group of There's more, sure, but there's 10 voices that you'll see across like almost all media where you hear them and you recognize them.
Oh, absolutely.
And I love that so much.
Yeah, but there's one person who I've interviewed who won a major job on an English anime by sending in a demo of a blind audition.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is exciting.
and she didn't know who they were auditioning for, and ended up with this really plum job. And uh, it's really amazing. Admiral Trina, who Trina Denhart, um, she's got an amazing voice. She's all over the place, but that's how she got her major job. So it is out there. It is out there.
Yeah.
And again, it depends on what they're looking for. If they're looking for someone to play a teenager, you better have a younger sounding voice or be able to create one. Um,
Hmm.
or be able to come back to it is something else too. You can hit the.
Oh, absolutely.
I've done that every once in a while, where by accident I'll hit a really cool, perfect uh, imitation of somebody from a cartoon show, but I'll never find it again.
I'm the same exact way, and that's that's why I have so much respect for voice actors. The fact that they can alter their voice so much is
Yeah,
just astonishing.
yeah, but sometimes they're looking for the voice that you sound like normally, and
Yeah.
that's even better, even easier. So, yeah, give it a shot. Give it a shot. You got the chops. You can do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Always on the lookout, and thank
Well,
you for that push, Eric.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, that always helps.
absolutely. So you're one of those folks that I would hire if I was still hiring in radio. I'd hire you, and you'd make absolutely no money, and you'd hate me for the rest of your life.
I don't think I'd hate you. Could hate anyone who gets them into radio?
Oh, I got tails.
Uh, my favorite saying is it's also a quote of a song, but video killed the radio star.
Mm, it didn't kill me, but it just wounded me and kept me going. Hooked me up to life support.
I think radio and podcasts are such a great medium, and I'm
Mm,
glad that services like Spotify and Apple and stuff are making them more accessible.
yeah, yeah,
Honestly,
and
even with YouTube as well.
absolutely. And I've made this comparison before to from VTubers now to the old radio DJs. Because back then, when we were still spinning the discs on the turntables, um, people could hear a certain song on several different stations in a market, but they came back to listen to the person playing the song. It was the personality of the DJ. I think that's a lot of what happens with VTubers too. You can watch somebody play Minecraft on about 800 people at the same time, but you come back to the one that you enjoy sitting and watching doing it. It's the personality that brings it
That is
back.
a really good comparison.
Yeah, and I'm trying to bridge that gap a little bit, but it's like you guys are the modern DJs, where um, you could play a game, and I'm sure you've noticed it by now because you've been doing this for a little bit, and in different genres. Um, you've got people who are going to come back and watch no matter what game you're playing, what you're doing,
Mhm.
and that's got to feel pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah, that I think that is the most heartwarming feeling any streamer can have
Mm-hmm.
is where you see return viewers that are just there for you. They
Mm-hmm.
don't care what you're doing. They just enjoy hearing you yap and interacting with you.
Yeah, and that's where the lurkers come in, where they you may not ever hear from them, but they're there and they come back, and you're that kind of anchor for them. If you got regular schedule and you're not procrastinating.
I'm working on getting a schedule in place.
But seriously, they come back, they see you on there, and okay, I'm tuning right in, and it happened with radio a lot, where radio is just on the background, before people could stream everything, um, and that is so much a part of people's audience, and for folks who've been at it for a while, that's probably the majority of who's listening.
Yeah, I mean, I fully agree with you there. And again, you that is such a great comparison and just way to word it.
Mm,
Because yeah, I have Sirius XM and
mm.
I always listen to Roxanne Shantae's what is it? Have a Nice Day radio.
The real
And just
Roxanne.
yeah, her personality alone, just anytime you hear her come on the mic, it's like, okay, Roxanne. Her energy is so infectious. And I think that's what all VTubers and just streamers alike strive to do. Like,
Yeah.
you want to be able to have people, like you said, return and just be like, okay, yeah, I might have been having a bad day, but now I'm here, everything's better,
Mhm.
we're relaxing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, you it's good to see that you're wanting to expand into other types of streaming because there's just so many to do now. And there's still people innovating, even though it's been around for a while now. Um, to me, that indicates that you've become pretty confident in what you're streaming, that you want to expand and do more things. Am I reading that right, or am I way off base?
I'd say you're right. I have a good understanding of the streaming basis, and more of the reason I want to branch out is just so I don't wear myself out with one thing or get pushed into one category.
Yeah.
I don't want to be known as, just a game streamer
Mhm.
or, just a artist, which isn't bad and I don't mind it,
Mhm.
but I would rather be known as just a creator or a creative.
Right. Right. I'm a full human turtle. I'm a full turtle.
Exactly.
One, two. There's a 360 degrees to me in several dimensions. Um, so are you doing artwork as well?
I'm trying to learn art. I'm
Yeah.
better with colors than I am with actual line work.
Mm.
If you want a stickman, I can draw you that pretty well.
Well, you got me beat there. I said every time I try to draw a stick man, I get hit by lightning. So it's really that's how bad it is. and no, and everybody just nods and said he tried it again. But no,
Uh,
I'm really terrible at art for the most part. But the fact is that now you're willing and trying to learn while you're doing all of this. Um, I mean, I'm looking at what you're doing and saying, here's a person who's kind of found a medium where they can blossom a little bit and try to become more of themselves. Uh, and it looks like it's a pretty good fit for you.
I fully agree with you there. I don't know what it is, but I just something about being online and being in this, I guess this industry
Mm-hmm.
we can call it, is really just infectious and energetic for me. It makes me want to like get up and do more. I have that strive. I have that need. Like now when I'm procrastinating, it's not me putting stuff off. It's me working on other projects and forgetting about other things for a little bit. So it's kind of just it's overwhelming in a good way, and I'm excited to see what the future holds. And I'm trying to find that balance right now, so I
Yeah.
don't, get buried under the rubble, as they say.
Yeah, it sounds like it's become a supplement, a life supplement for you, where it's boosting you all the way around. What this is happening. I mean, you could do without it maybe, but now you don't. Now it's become a big part of your life.
Great way to put it. I find myself dreaming about streaming now. It's weird. I'll wake up thinking, "Oh gosh, was I just live talking to chat?" Because my dream was so vivid, and it's like we just played the best horror game, and then it's like, all right, now I know what we got to do for stream. I've dreamt it. Time to put it into reality.
So, have you always been someone who could get in front of the audience, or is that something you had to learn?
I have stage fright and anxiety, but as soon as I'm out there doing it, it goes away. I
Oh,
think that's something I learned in middle school being a theater kid.
yes. One of those kids.
hmm I
Well, I
played a mean Romeo in Romeo and Juliet.
yeah, yeah. A mean Romeo. It's like, hey, Juliet, come down here or else.
Pretty much.
Firebomb the castle. I'll get you out of there. Um, so that helped you. I mean, I took a drama class in high school, and that helped me with getting in front of people and talking. Because I, even though I did the radio stuff, it's different than having 10 people in a room looking at you. Um, it's a lot different than that actually. So that helped you with it, but you still have to put it into action. Um, did that carry over into your off performance life? Have you been an outgoing person, or have you been more of an introvert?
Normally more of an introvert,
Mm,
but I will say I have been more outgoing recently. I
mm,
think it's starting to seep on over because that old mindset of what if this happens is kind of going away, and it's more of let's see what happens.
mm. Yeah, that's a very big difference, isn't it?
It really is. It's like night and day.
Mm.
You go from worrying about all the little things to being curious about them and just saying, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. At least I tried.
Yeah, and it's not reckless. It's not, you're not throwing it all away to do it. You're it's become part of what you're doing. It becomes normal to do this stuff. So you're not, you know, taking all your money and putting it on number 23 or anything. I mean, you're not you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. You're trying new things and willing to expand that envelope.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. It's a great feeling when you feel that freedom, and it's amazing what that model can do for somebody.
It really is. And I mean, if there's anyone who's thinking about getting into VTubing and has been hesitant on it, I fully suggest just dive in and start. You don't have to get a full-on model, even a PNG tuber, or just start streaming. You don't even need to have anything up. It's just a wild ride, and if you think you want to jump on, fully embrace it.
Yeah, and there's so many people doing it from. That's the reason why we're doing these interviews because there's so many different people behind it. So many different reasons that people are doing it, and people are doing it. Some are doing it as a living. Some are doing it as a hobby. Some are doing it as a escape once a week. I mean, you can meet and interact with so many different people just by opening up a stream service and finding who I want to watch people somebody play Stardew today, so I can find so many people doing it, and then you settle right into a community at that point. It's an amazing technology when you think that hard about it.
It really is. And I think that's part of the reason I just love the VTubing community so much because, like you said, you can find a streamer, sit and watch them for a while, interact with them, and it's like you're already part of the community. Everyone is so welcoming and
Mhm.
just amazing to interact with.
Yeah, yeah. So, what would you have put your energy into had this not been a possibility?
Probably more writing, believe
Mm,
it or not. Since high school I've been working on a few different books. I've got I think about 200 pages in each, but it's been a while since I've worked on them.
mm.
So I have to go through and reread them.
Oh,
But I think I probably would have put more energy into that.
and then what type of books are they?
So I was really obsessed with the nonfiction. Um, I believe, oh my gosh, it's been so long. Like Percy Jackson style,
Mm,
like that fantasy-esque kind of take you on an adventure.
yeah.
So I was actually working on a noir Lovecraftian horror style
Ooh.
adventure that followed the eyes of the street youth dealing with uh, dealing with the neighborhood ingesting a substance that basically blinds them to the horrors that are going on.
Mm, yeah.
Taking inspiration from a few different mediums there. So it's kind of trying not to step on other IP. So
Well,
that's where a lot of stuff comes into play.
yeah. Well, I mean, you're doing your own take on it. That's what writing is about. A lot of it is, and I encourage you to keep doing that because I've got stuff bouncing in my head that I've wanted to put out on in text for a long time, and I just haven't. I've even got it mapped out in my head what I want to do, but I just can't get the fingers to type it into anything. Like I sit
See,
down,
that's where I've been lately too.
yeah. I did,
Didn't mean to cut you off.
no, no,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead. I,
Oh, I was gonna say that's where I've been lately too. I'll sit down and just the words won't flow.
mm-hmm,
But when they do, that's when you can't stop. You're
mm,
working on a project for, days or hours or
yeah,
however long.
yeah. I've got one introduction to one of maybe 8 or 10 stories I've got bouncing through my head, written. It's a real good start. I
Hey, Eric, like you said to me, I think you just need to keep going and keep doing it.
Yeah, yeah. Eventually, I'll get a page 4 when I'm done. But it's all gonna be short stories when I'm done with it. But it, I for the fact that you've got them started and is pretty courageous for me to I think. There's one thing to have these things in your head, and one thing to have the talent, but showing it to somebody else is a different story. Um, so since you were in school, have you been able to do that? Has it been easy for you to um, show people what you got, your talents?
Unfortunately, no. I've been so anxious and just introverted about it, and just that I haven't taken that risk to show other people or to, you know, ask others' opinions.
Yeah.
But now that I'm finding, that stride and that self-confidence and everything, I'm actually thinking about taking that risk this year. I
Mm,
don't know what it is, but ever since the start of 2025, I felt like it's been a good year for uh, just content creation, art, just everything. I feel like if you got a creative bone in your body, this is the year to put yourself out there.
yeah, yeah. And this is your year to do it for
Oh,
sure.
absolutely.
Yeah. I think that it's really refreshing to talk to somebody who's obviously enjoying themselves with this and embracing it. And I get this feeling you're going to grab it and shake it for everything you can get out of it.
That's the goal.
What is there anything left in this bottle? Rattle, rattle, rattle.
Yeah, just rattling around, trying to pat the bottom,
There's still some
just seeing everything.
there's still some ketchup left in this bottle. uh, oh, I think that's great because this is, and people will talk about VTubing as a trend and concept. I don't know if there's gonna be as many VTubers around in 5 years as there are now, but the people who are still there will be folks who are really comfortable with it and have taken it and run with it and enjoyed themselves to that point. Uh, how far do you see yourself taking your channel?
Hmm. Well, I don't see myself stopping anywhere in the next 5 years.
Hmm.
If I can keep growing with it, I would love for it to evolve and evolve. I don't want it to be something I ever stop doing.
Right.
I think that love and that joy of interacting with the community and just the space is ingrained in me.
Hmm.
Uh, I might move on to say, different fields, so maybe it wouldn't be gaming as much, but my content would evolve along with me.
Right. 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 Yeah. And there's just there's so many things to do. I mean, a lot of people do music streams. A lot of people do now lectures on stream and that type of thing, presentations and just reviews of other things or watch-alongs, that type of thing. Um,
Oh, absolutely.
and there's just so many things to be able to do, and it's always good to talk to somebody who to me, I'm trying to see it through your eyes here as such a like landing on a new planet to explore. There's so many things that you can do yet, and you want to find the time to do all of them. in this is your chance to show us what you're all about.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Mm. Now, I could have said it better. I'm really bad with. If I ever wrote that out on a script, that everybody would read it, put a red X through it. But that's one of the reasons why I don't write anything down. So it's always going to be right off the cuff. And you have to do that when you're live. This is, folks, this is taped. I can go back and edit stuff out and do that, but it's a lot different when you're live. And all these streams you're doing are live. You ever feel that pressure?
Honestly, no. I kind of forget that I'm live half the time. And then it's just me doing my normal rambling to myself. And then I'll look over and I'll catch chat. And I'm like, oh, hey, guys. And then I'll respond to them.
Yeah. Well, it sounds very comfortable. And that's there's a lot of people who would like to be that comfortable. That they can put it on like a that big hoodie you were talking about. and just settle in and enjoy yourself. I wish you the best with this. I really do. I think it's set in very well with you. You've embraced it like it's embracing you. It's a win-win-win for everybody, and it's a win for me because I get a chance to talk with you and meet you over this medium. And I really hope that once you get some more stuff coming up this year, you let me know so we can have you back on and we can update everybody.
Oh, I would love that, Eric.
Yeah. Folks, check out what TurtlesIn4K's got going on. We're going to have the links in the description for this video. And please check out what TurtlesIn4K's got going. There's a lot coming. I feel it in my bones. No pressure. I'm not putting pressure on you or anything, but you better come through, otherwise I'm going to look bad.
Oh, you could never look bad, Eric.
No, I can't do. You haven't. Just ask my wife. She'll tell you. Oh, not good.
Well, I bet she has some stories.
Oh, she does. And believe me, I buy her whatever she wants, so I can buy her silence. But you don't stay silent. Let us keep us in the loop and let me know what's happening with you, so we can let people know. Thanks for coming
Absolutely.
on so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.